Welcome to the subject Management and Economics. Dear friends, this is the subject which you need to remember for your life. This helps you to understand the principles of management and economics, how to implement them in your day-to-day life so that your life can be better. Every person earns, but managing his finances is the critical point. So this subject helps you to implement the principles of economics so that with moderate earning you can lead a very happy life. The first module in this subject is about management, introduction to management, whether management is science or art, and all those things. This is the disclaimer, and I am very thankful to everyone who have contributed towards the development of this PPT. Learning objectives. What are the learning objectives of this chapter? At the end of this chapter, you should be able to understand the meaning of management, explain the nature and characteristics of management, enumerate the scope of the management, differentiate management as art or science or profession, differentiate between management and administration, understand the different levels of management, explain development of various management thoughts. First, let us start with the introduction. What is management? Management is a conglomeration of various aspects. It is defined as the process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in groups efficiently accomplish selected aims. So here the words groups, accomplish, aims are highlighted. It means it is an activity which is done in a group and helps us to accomplish the selected aims or goals. And the entire management can be put in a simple diagram like this, wherein a person does multiple tasks in order to manage an organization. Let us discuss on the characteristics of management. What are its characteristics? First of all, it is a group activity. What do you mean by a group? It consists of a team. What do you mean by a team? Team is the acronym for together each achieve more. So that is what makes a team. Let me put it in a very simple way. What is 1 plus 1? All of us know it is 2. But can 1 plus 1 be more than 2? Can 1 plus 1 be less than 2? Or can it be 0? It is possible. How? Let me put it like this. Two persons join together to work on a particular product or a project, and the outcome is more than the sum of the individual. Then it is 1 plus 1 is greater than 2. Suppose two persons sit together, complete the work, and the outcome is just equal to sum of the individuals. Then it is 1 plus 1 equals 2. If two persons sit together, join their hands, and the outcome of those two individuals is less than the sum of the individuals, which means 1 plus 1 is less than 2, or it could even be 0. What does that mean? If two persons can join together, understand each other well, and produce more than what they could have done individually, then it is a teamwork. Many times it won't happen. Many a times it happens in such a way that they join together, but unfortunately the final outcome is a disaster, and unfortunately the outcome will be lesser if they had when compared to their individual work. It's a goal oriented activity. What do you mean by a goal oriented activity? You must have a final goal, and that must be set and achieved finally. Just imagine a football match wherein players move around taking the ball and there is no goal post. Is it really possible? Highly impossible. So even in a company, in an organization, proper goals must be set and that should be achieved finally. It's a factor of production. It coordinates various functions to achieve the best possible product or project or outcome. That's why it is called as a factor of production. It's universal in character. It is applicable everywhere. It is not restricted to any one nation or continent or a region. It is applicable everywhere, and that's why it is a philosophy. It is needed at all levels of the organization. It is not restricted to just any one level, either to the top level or the middle level or the lower down the level. It is required at all levels of the organization, and it's a distinct process. Why it is a distinct process? Because it accomplishes stated goals. Next one is it's a social process. Why it is a social process? Because it involves people. That it involves people and it manages both internal and external people. Internal are those within the company. External are those which are outside the outside the company, but has relationship with the company, like customers or end users. It's a dynamic function and it has to change. That's why it is called as a dynamic function. It has to change as per the requirement, and as and when the situation demands some change, it has to accomplish that demand. And it is intangible. What do you mean by this word intangible? Intangible means you cannot measure it, you can only feel it. A good manager can be felt. Work from a good manager can only be felt, it cannot be measured. You eat a particular item in a hotel which you like most and you get the satisfaction. Can we measure that? But that satisfaction can be felt. Similarly, good work from a manager can be felt, but it's very difficult to measure. And it's a system of authority because it provides both authority as well as responsibility. Now let us discuss about functions of management. What are the various functions of management? Normally managerial knowledge is divided around 5 important functions. First one is the planning, second one is the organizing, third one staffing, fourth one leading or directing, fifth one coordinating and controlling, and this is put it in a very simple diagram like this. What is planning? Planning is deciding in advance. What is that you need to do now? When to do it? How to do it? Normally it bridges the gap between where we are now and where we want to be after say 10 years, 20 years. That difference is called as the gap, and we need to do the gap analysis and plug in the gap. First of all, it is a future course of actions. It sets the path for the future course of actions. It is an exercise in problem solving and decision making. It helps us in solving the problem. It helps us in making a proper decision. It's a process of looking ahead, say after 10 years, 20 years, where my organization will be, where my company will be. So this is what is required for any manager or a leader. Let us take the example of our college. Our Canara High School Association is 129 years old. Amembal Subbarao Pai had thought that this organization should run for a long time, and we have proved in that particular aspect. We are successful in that. We have achieved what we wanted to. And let me tell you one more example. In Mysore, there is a road called as 100 feet road. It's also called as Chamaraja Double Road, and that was constructed during 1900s by Sir M. Vishweshwaraya and Sir Mirza Ismail when they were the Diwans of Mysore under the leadership of Nalvadi Krishnaraja Odayar. Can you just imagine what was the necessity of 100 feet road more than 100 years ago? Absolutely not. But that is the vision that these two persons had in their mind. Even today, traffic jams are rarely seen in Mysore because it is such a very well planned city, and that is the meaning of this process of look ahead. Next, it sets the course of action. It helps you to think before doing. We need to think twice, thrice, 10 times before we do something. Is this necessary? Can we afford to spend? Then only we have to spend. If it is not required to spend that much, we need to hold it back. We have to prioritize our spending. That is why planning is very critical and crucial. It guides other functions. It is pervasive. Pervasive means it encompasses all sectors. Everything has been put it in a simple diagram. Second function is organizing. What is organizing? It is a process of bringing together various aspects like physical, financial, human resources, and producing among them a cordial relationship to achieve the organizational goals. And it's not only that, according to Henry Fayol, you have to provide everything, 4 M's, that is material, machine, money, and men. You have to provide all these four. When you provide all these four, then only organization can work. It helps us in identifying and classifying work to be performed. It assigns work to people. It delegates authority and fixes responsibility. Which level has what kind of authority, which level has what kind of responsibility, what kind of work should be done by this person, second person, third person. Everything will be told during organizing. It helps people to achieve the objectives. The third function is staffing. What is staffing? It is the function of manning the organization structure. The previous function helps us to prepare the organization structure, and now they are all vacant seats. Now those vacancies must be filled. Staffing helps us to fill up those vacancies, and it has assumed greater importance nowadays because of many reasons like technology is changing, size of the business is changing, complexity of human behavior. Many companies start their units at various places spread across the globe, not only just in one country. So that's why it's very difficult, and the human behavior again varies from one country to another country. The culture changes from one country to another country. That's why we need to be very careful about staffing. Manpower planning, recruitment, selection, and training. These are the various functions of staffing. It helps in manpower planning, it helps in recruitment, selection, and training of the personnel. It helps in placement of the manpower. It helps in development, promotion, transfer, and appraisal. Once we recruit a person, it is not that the process ends there. No, we should have some programs that helps in development of the person, helps his promotion, makes way for his transfer, appraisal, and Not only that, even employee remuneration is also a function of staffing. The next function is leading or directing. We have a wonderful plan, we have a great organization structure, and we have filled all the vacancies, but who is leading? That is the question answered by this function. This is that part of the managerial function which actuates the organization methods to work efficiently. The previous three functions are just preparatory units. That's all. Leading is termed as the life spark of the enterprise. If there is no proper leader, if there is no proper direction, the entire system collapses. You may have a top hero, top heroine, everyone involved in that, they have done everything to their best of ability. Story is also great, but even then a feature film will flop because of a very patchy director. On the other hand, irrespective of the hero, heroine, and everybody, a movie can be a super hit just because of wonderful direction. Gurudutt in Hindi, Satyajit Ray, another stalwart, Putana Kanagal in Kannada. These are all the people who have just taken the movie to a higher level just because of proper direction. This is what it does, it shows the right direction. It involves leadership, communication, motivation, as well as supervision. You have to have a good leader. You need to have a good leader, then only you can be successful in directing. The last function is coordinating and controlling. This is another important aspect of the entire management process. Just imagine a situation wherein you have a wonderful business plan, wonderful organization structure, best people have been filled, you have a wonderful leader. Is that sufficient? No. The entire preparation goes waste if that is not properly coordinated and controlled. There has to be proper understanding amongst everyone. All those who are involved in that must have a common goal to them, and that is what this controlling does. Ensures us that everything occurs in conformities with the standards. You have set a standard, and that standard must be met. If you do not meet those standards, then your controlling methods are wrong. An efficient control system helps us to predict the deviation even before it occurs. That's what we term it as proactive. It is not reactive. Reactive, it happens after action occurs, whereas proactive happens even before action occurs. Controlling is the measurement and correction of performance activities of subordinates in order to make sure that enterprise objectives and plans desired to obtain them as being accomplished. It provides unity of action, and it is the most essential for the success of other functions. That's what I told you, my dear friends. Irrespective of the great leader, great workers, if there is no proper coordinating and controlling, the entire system will collapse.